Hey folks, Dr. Mike Israetel here for the template guide walkthrough. So what you want to do now is you might actually want to minimize this video, or you don't have to look at me talking. What you want to do is pull up the actual templates themselves, or you can walk along with me here. We're going to have in the video display an actual walkthrough of all of the PDF tabs, the PDF pages that we're going to be talking about, but if you want to walk through your own, that's even better. So here's the deal. We're going to walk through every single one of these tabs, and we're going to talk about what the tabs do, what they don't do, and how to get a handle on them for your success. When you actually open up your PDF document, it should always open at first, when you first receive it, to a page called Quick Tips. Quick Tips is like a very summarized, very basic version of frequently asked questions. It's a really good idea to read it first because you just clear up a lot of confusion. Read that Quick Tips. It's literally like, just around 10 tips for you to read that really kind of give you a super basic, just answering questions that are super straightforward. For example, talking about how to calculate protein and fat stuff and measuring protein and things like that. This is listed extensively in the actual FAQ, the long version. This is just kind of quick reminders. So you're going to look at the quick tips, get through them, no big deal. The next is a page that's going to be called serving sizes, or serving sizes with pictures. It's just going to remind you about how big servings really are. The cool thing is that because you are going to be measuring out servings, usually in grams and stuff like that. This is just to keep your mind wrapped around exactly how big stuff is. Sometimes when you measure food in grams and you put it on the plate, you're like, is that really how much food I'm supposed to be eating? Sometimes it looks like way too much, sometimes way too little. This will give you a handle. It's some pictures of plates with various common objects compared to actual foods in certain serving sizes. So just kind of give you a real world look. Now we get into the real actual template of stuff that's instructing you to eat in certain ways. So we're going to hit the base tab. The base is where you always start every single diet with the RP templates. You're going to run the base for 1 to 2 weeks. It's your call how long you want to run it. Everyone should run it for at least 1 week to get their metabolism and their body and their psychology used to cooking and eating and measuring meals while there's not really much of a goal to the diet. The base is designed to keep about your same body weight. If the base makes you gain weight or lose weight, you can always adjust it a little bit, and there's instructions about how to do that in the FAQ and the how-to, but generally speaking, you want to stay on the base for at least 1 week to get a real good thick of things. You can absolutely, if you need more time adjusting to the diet, sometimes, you want a fat loss diet, you're like, okay, I got to get a handle on how to cook all this food, how to measure all these meals. I need more. You can take up to 2 weeks or even longer if you'd like, and 2 weeks is totally cool to get used to the diet. When you want the actual results to start really happening, you're probably going to move into one of the business tabs. If this is a fat loss template that you got, it's going to be tabs Fat Loss 1, Fat Loss 2, and Fat Loss 3. There's going to be 3 of those tabs, or 3 pages in the PDF document. Or if you got the muscle gain template, it's going to be muscle gain 1, 2, and 3. Now here's the deal. This is where you have to look at the how-to guide and look at the guidelines for when to switch tabs. When you're on base, if you're on a fat loss diet, if you're already losing weight within the specifications that the how-to guide talks about, which we'll get to later, then it's totally fine to just stay on base because you're losing fat at exactly the rate we want you to. That's great. Why eat less food if you can eat more food and lose fat? On the other hand, if you're on the base tab or you're on the base page and you're actually gaining weight on a muscle gain diet, and you're gaining enough weight to get you within the minimum and maximum guidelines, you're totally good to go. There's no reason to change. But according to the how-to, as soon as you're not losing quite enough weight on the fat loss diet or not gaining enough weight on the muscle gain diet, you want to switch into Fat Loss 1 if you're in fat loss, or Muscle Gain 1 if you're in muscle gain. You're going to stay in those columns for as long as it takes for you to exit out of the weight loss rate or the weight gain rate that you're prescribed. So for example, if let's say your how-to document says if you're losing any less than half a pound of weight per week, you need to move on to the next tab. That means if you lose 0.7 pounds this week, you're good to go. You don't need to make an adjustment. It's by 2-week period. So you take 2 weeks, and let's say you don't lose any weight at all. Then after the next 2 weeks, you definitely need to go into the next fat loss phase. Or if you lose, let's say 0.4 pounds, but 0.5 is the cutoff, that means you're not losing weight fast enough. You need to go into the next Fat Loss 2 tab. Fat Loss 2 is a stricter diet. It's less food. Sorry, we can't sugarcoat it, but that's what it takes, calories in, calories out, to lose weight and to lose fat. When Fat Loss 2 could work for 2 weeks, it could work for 1 week, and then you need to give another week just to make sure, and then make the change. Or it could work for 2 months, and you keep you in that optimal rate of fat loss. But if that weight loss rate is too low or non-existent, if you stop losing weight or lose very, very slowly, you'll have to move from Fat Loss 2 into Fat Loss 3. Now, we almost guarantee that Fat Loss 3 will lose you all the weight you need. The reason we don't start with it first is it's too powerful. It's going to cut your food by like half of what you're normally eating. That's way too much. It's going to lose you a bunch of muscle. It's going to cause you to burn out of the diet. It's going to be super, super hunger-inducing. You're not going to be able to focus. Only use Fat Loss 3 if Fat Loss 2 stopped doing the trick, if it stopped letting you lose weight within the boundaries specified by the how-to guide. No, this is rocket science. It's literally just 2 numbers. Is your weight between them? If not, you got to change up the tabs. If it is, you're good to go. And if it's above them on the fat loss, right, if you're losing 2 pounds of weight per week, but you're actually supposed to only lose up to 1.5, that's totally cool. You just stay on the same tab and keep going because extra weight loss is totally fine. But if it's not enough weight, there's a problem. On the muscle gain side, it's the same thing, only in reverse. If you're not gaining weight fast enough, or at all, you move to the next tab after 2 weeks of analysis. If you are gaining weight fast enough, you don't do a thing about it, right? The how-to guide explains this much more thoroughly, but that's really all the magic to the templates. If you're getting the results you want, if it's the results based on the trend line that we want that'll eventually get you to your goal weight, we're good to go and you don't need to change a thing. But if your body is telling you that it needs less food or more food to accomplish whatever it needs to accomplish to get to the weight, to get to the muscle, or to get to the fat loss rate that you want, then you have to go on to the next tab, whether it be fat loss 1, 2, or 3, or muscle gain 1, 2, and 3. You always work through them sequentially. You're never going to skip from 1 to 3 or anything like that. All makes total sense. So let's say you got all the way to fat loss 3. You finished your diet. It's 12 weeks long. We don't recommend you diet longer than that at any one time. What do we do next? After Fat Loss 3 is done, do we just stay on Fat Loss 3? No. Do we just eat whatever we want and the diet is over? Not a good idea. What you do is you start moving through the maintenance tabs. You go through to maintenance 1, and then if the how-to guide tells you, and it's got all the detailed instructions there, after a while, if you start to really lose weight again, then you go to maintenance 2, because maintenance 1 isn't that much food, but what it does is you've dieted down, your metabolism is super slowed down, your hunger's a little wonky. Maintenance 1 really just starts to reset your metabolism, heal you up, give you more food, but not a crazy amount, because we know if we feed the body a ton after it's lost weight, it just gains back a lot of fat, right? So when we go is maintenance 1, and then when the how-to guide tells us it's okay, we eventually go to maintenance 2. At the end of that whole process, we go to what's called new base. The new base is a diet for you to take with you for as long as you want to just stay at that new weight you have and maintain function. In the muscle gain guide and the muscle gain templates, the maintenance tabs aren't even there. You go from muscle gain all the way up through the ones you need, and then you go to your new base right after that. But the new base is literally a diet that you can keep forever, that with some minor adjustments on your part, which the how-to covers. In addition to that, it's going to be super simple for you to have awesome performance, awesome recovery, and get everything you need food-wise and nutrition-wise for health to make sure that you're well on your way and doing well in whatever sport or just life activity you want. But if you want to eventually lose fat again, then you can totally rerun the template if necessary, or buy a new template if you lost more than 20 pounds, or if you gain more than 20 pounds, you buy a new mass phase template, a new muscle gain template. You can totally do that stuff, but we have to give it some time. Maintenance, after a fat loss phase, the entirety of maintenance 1 and 2 and the new base together should be run for a total of at least 2 months in almost all cases. We recommend running them for actually about 3. And if you've gained muscle, you've done the muscle gain tabs, you should run the new base for at least 1 month before probably going to a fat loss phase to cut off the fat that you gained along with the muscle. Maintenance is essential. We're going to get into in a next video why exactly maintenance is super important. But now that we know it's important, we know what all the tabs do, you guys are ready to take the templates, use them for what you need, and get the results you need. And if you have any more questions, we have the next video coming up for some frequently asked questions. We have the frequently asked questions guide, and a lot can be found in the quick tips document at the very template you're looking now. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you for the next video.